Hello there everyone, this is Phreak with an audio commentary for WCReplays.com. By the way, that is copyrighted, so don't steal it, or, just don't. Yeah, okay. So, the replay is paused at the 1 minute mark from Lynn's point of view. This is, as you probably have guessed from the description, Orc versus Undead. As I had said earlier, if you had read the comments about the LOL I'm back on staff thread, and what I had written, it was that I was going to be helping myself a lot with these audios, and that I was going to be analyzing these replays, not only just for you guys, but for myself, for the matchups that I really wanted to do. You know, for example, I did Elf vs Undead, in which I learned nothing except that you can keep massing Gargs, even at tier 3, and still almost win a game. Alright, so, this one is Orc vs Undead, because I'm tired of Undead being imbalanced. Yes, the theme of my audios will be that Undead is imbalanced. Just FYI, that's going to be a recurring theme here, in addition to D-Boss is a noob, because he is. I like how I've wasted 1 minute of your time by talking about nothing. So, as I said, the 1 minute mark, so I guess that whole 1 minute was to get you to the 1 minute mark, in case you don't know what, like, you know, multiplying the speed is, or something. Right. Anyway, Lynn's point of view, Fog of War on, 1 minute mark. The map is Twisted Meadows, in case I gave you the wrong map, or game, or something. Whatever. Anyway, let's go. 1 minute mark. Let us unpause in 3, 2, 1. Unpause. 102, 103, 104. Yeah, okay. So as you can see here, he is doing the epitome. Epitome's not a word. Epitome of the. I actually think epitome was a word for a while, and I said it once. Someone was like, "I'm pretty sure you mean epitome," and I was like, "You know, you're probably right." I'll stop saying epitome now. So he's doing the epitome of the standard orc build. I like the misclick there. And notice that he has custom keys in that it was, or actually maybe not, I forget what the standard key is, but he moved it in there and then clicked, I don't know, B or Z or whatever his key is, which moved all his units into the burrow instead of starting to build a burrow. I found that actually pretty funny. But regardless, it doesn't really hurt him that much. I mean, LOL orc imbalance, they can go into burrows and still win a game. Alright, so as you can see, Farseer and Grunts. The reason for Farseer, first of all, well, I'll go over something real quick. There are only 2 heroes Orc should use first, and that is the Farseer and the Blade Master. Shocking, I know. Secondly, the reason for Farseer on this map is that there aren't really any good Blade Master style creeps. I mean, everything is normal damage. There is that one orange camp, you know, right out there. Okay, I take it back. It's not everything is normal damage, but everything early game creeping has a lot of normal damage. Compared to something like, you know, Terran Stand, which I'll be going over either in this audio or a later audio. Probably later because I'm lazy. As we see with Terran Stand, there, you know, that first big orange camp has a level 5 range, which you can have the Blade Master tank, and the melee creeps are pretty pitiful, so it's not a big problem. Also, just the increased damage output that the Farseer gives with his wolves is really helpful for creeping some pretty big camps that are around, such as this secondary orange right here is something that you can't normally creep with a Blade Master or Grunts, just because it does just too much damage, and it's also hard to make sure that those piercing creeps are focusing your blade, because every time they cast Purge, whatever they purge is the new focus fire target. It's the antithesis of Ensnare. See that word I pronounced correctly. So there's just, you know, a couple things that Farseer is good at. It's good at killing ghouls. It's good at killing fiends. Oh, I don't know. Like, the whole point though really is, I think it's about the creeps. I'm not really one to tell people how to play their own race when I don't play it myself. But I am going to tell you you guys how to play your own race, because I'm better than you. / ego. Okay, so I guess really what's going on is, because Caesarea went for a fast Death Knight build, you can't really creep too much. You specifically can't creep any big creep camps. I'm not sure why he's looking around for the natural expansion creeping. That's definitely not something that happens. But he is trying to get himself, you know, some creeps that he can actually manage to fight, at least while his Farseer is busy. So that's why he's going over to the green camp. You pretty much always open with the green camp anytime. Just pretty much you always do that. Unless your opponent's going fiends, in which case you can steal their orange, which again is part of the Farseer thing. When you have summons like that, you can creep the orange right away. So I'm not sure if it's partially Lynn knowing Caesaria's style that he goes for fast hero, or that he scattered it, or I really couldn't tell you the difference between this and the other game I'm going to do eventually, where he creeps the orange. But I'm attributing it to Ghouls vs Fiends. As for how he knew it, I'm not really sure. But regardless, that is a point I'm bringing up. Caesarea is screwing up the surround TT. But as you can see, he's now gotten 2 green camps crept out, and so he only needs 1 more for the level. And he's running the heck away from these skeletons because, you know, Rod of 2 Footmen slightly imbalanced. So he's going back for round 2 on this orange camp because this way, at least if he kills the 2 little null wardens, he will level the 2, which is really the entire purpose of going FS first, is getting level 2 before your TC comes out. That's really, really important, because otherwise you've got to share the creeping, because really a level 1 Farseer is worthless. It really, really is. And so, as I said, you need level 2. And having to share creeps with your Tauren Chieftain, not a good idea, because it's like, oh look, my Tauren Chieftain will never get 3. He's going to be useless too. Fun. So you do see that he's gotten a shop already, even though he doesn't need the healing yet. As you can see, all his grunts are in pretty good shape, and he doesn't really need more mana on his Farseer. What he is going for is the fact that, you know, he's going to pick up salve so that he can creep with his TC, and it's just good to have in case you really do get your hero focused a bunch, or you get a grunt weakened. You know, it's good to have just in case, hey, you know what, I'm going to make sure that I can heal this guy up. And he probably should have done a Farseer block than a surround. He could have gotten one, but regardless, now this Death Knight's going to be like, oh, sup, I'm creeping. I'm stealing your creeps, really. But as you saw, by creeping that secondary green, he's gotten himself level 2, and that, as I said, is the important part. Pulling back that grunt that's getting salved in case he tries to skeleton focus it. As you can see, that survives. Death Knight using coil to finish the creep off, as you saw from the remnants, or if you had Fog of War off, you bastard not listening to me. Just in case the Farseer came into Chain Lightning it, you just never know when it's a night. Something could come out of nowhere without you realizing. So what we see is now his Tauren Chieftain is out. You can see he's already picked up a set of heal salves and a clarity potion. And so he's like, okay, well, right now I can't really go creep because these ghouls are harassing me. And that's, a lot of it is a conscious choice on Caesaria's part. Don't let that TC creep just yet. Let's keep in his face. You know, I have enough lumber. Let's check real quick. No, he doesn't have, well, he has some ghouls. He has enough lumber. He's just keeping enough to annoy his opponent right now. But lucky TC surround, pretty nice. And a very good move on the Farseer, and he has forced the TP with a great War Stomp. That was just really, really good. And that's the kind of leverage you need to say, hey, get the hell away from my army, I want to creep my Tauren Chieftain. So as you can see, Farseer getting away from the creep focus fire, and trying, though unsuccessfully, to get away from these creeps to not steal the experience. Because now it's time for this Farseer and single Raider, which is going to have Ensnare shortly, to harass ghoul creeping, because he does not have Frenzy yet. He does not have an Orb of Corruption. He may have a Lich, but that's not enough to just kill a Raider. As you can see, all he's going to do is say, oh look, I'm focusing your ghouls with, you know, Ensnare and Wolves, and then Chain Lightning whenever I want to. You know, you're now screwed. Look, this ghoul's getting dropped, and then, oh look, Chain Lightning! Or not. I guess you don't really have to if you're a pro Orc player. Your opponent just won't coil his shit. Mostly because he has no mana. That is partially why he didn't save that ghoul. But regardless, you saw he tried to go for that second ghoul right there with a Chain Lightning, and apparently didn't get it. You know, too bad there, but you know, you always try if you know that one ghoul's for sure. So that's one thing you can do against ghouls, is you take your Farseer and one Raider and you go have fun with their ghouls while they're creeping, because most ghoul players, when they're around tier 2, will go for the creep fast. They'll be like, okay, you know, I need to creep because I need better heroes. That's how I'm going to make my Frenzy ghouls really good. And plus, right now, he gets ensnared. There's no way in hell I'm fighting a real battle when he's going to stomp on my ghouls, you know, drop my DPS to 0 for a couple seconds, then do it twice more. So it's all about, you know, creeping while the TC is. Though, as an interesting thought, I figured that, you know, how hard would it really be to just creep check them? I mean, you can make a Shade Red at tier 2 and probably run it over in a decent amount of time, and then you sort of just show up with ghouls, and, you know, I guess some of it is that he did not have mana on his Death Knight, and that is definitely